Madam Chair, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I am here today to represent 1,192 islands forming the Republic of Maldives. Maldives, as an island state, has long suffered from its extreme vulnerability. As we are just 3 feet above sea level, the impact of climate change and associated sea level rise is a major threat to our people and to our way of life. The Asian tsunami provided a forewarning of the type of natural disaster that will become more frequent and pervasive should the world fail to act to avert the climate crisis. The government of Maldives has since then accelerated its efforts to manage the impact of large-scale natural disasters, giving a special emphasis on mitigation measures and adaptation to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, immediately after the 2004 tsunami, the country set up a national coordination mechanism, the National Disaster Management Center, to coordinate our response, recovery, and reconstruction efforts. Since then, National Disaster Management Center has become a permanent body mandated to lead preparedness efforts and to ensure that the risk reduction is mainstreamed into the development plan of the country. This initiative will be further strengthened by the Disaster Management Bill, which is expected to be approved by the Parliament this year. This bill will provide the legal foundation to establish the necessary institutional and administrative structures for addressing all aspects of disaster preparedness. Ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with the priorities outlined in the Hyogo Framework for Action, the Maldives has taken steps to match its development policies with a concrete plan for implementation of the Hyogo Framework for Action by incorporating disaster risk reduction into new national development plan. This 5-year plan includes measures that will be taken at national and local levels to make the island communities more resilient to the impact of natural disasters. Several disaster risk reduction activities have been undertaken in the Maldives during the last 2 to 3 years. These include preparation of a disaster risk profile, carbon auditing for the country, improvement of monitoring services at Department of Meteorology, and establishment of a multi-departmental committee on early warning and emergency communications. The Strategic National Action Plan on Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation derived from NAPA, National Adaptation Program for Action, is designed to promote collaboration among policymakers, experts, and practitioners of disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation in order to develop a comprehensive management approach. It aims to build the resilience of the island communities to disasters by sustaining the progress made, by consolidating best practice, and by incorporating risk reduction into the government's decentralization strategies. Ladies and gentlemen, the harmonization of policies, plans, and sustainable development strategies has allowed Maldives to identify a consolidated set of programs and projects that can be undertaken within the 2011 government budget and those that may be considered for donor assistance. It is my pleasure to announce at this meeting that the government of Maldives has included disaster risk reduction programs in this year's program budget for the first time in our history. This includes budget allocation for the establishment of the National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. With funds in place, the government will now proceed to prepare an administrative framework and will consult with all national stakeholders to establish platform by the end of this year. As I have mentioned, the government is determined that the risk reduction will be fully integrated into our socio-economic development policies. Our aim is to create a young, dynamic, private sector-led economy which promotes sustainable development, eradicates poverty, and creates a society which is resilient to climate change and to natural disasters. Ladies and gentlemen, in this regard, Partnerships between the public and private sectors will be essential for our economy and development is in general, and for disaster risk reduction in particular. In conclusion, Madam Chair, the Maldives is undertaking a wide range of steps to ensure that we move from being one of the most vulnerable countries on earth to being one of the most resilient. We face many challenges in this regard, not least a lack of financial and technical capacity. The Maldives would thus welcome external assistance to help us secure a more certain future for our people. Thank you.